Okay, I'd like to call to order the Ponderosa Pines Property Owners Association regular board meeting of March 26, 2015. It's now 7:03.
Tell you what, why don't you sit right here, I'll go over there.
There's a seat over here.
Go ahead,
There's
guys.
chairs over there.
Go ahead.
Oh, is it?
The directors that are present are Julie, Cheryl, myself, Danelle, and Sue, so therefore we do have a quorum. Looks like we have a great attendance again. Again, I'd like to acknowledge everybody's patience in going to the water company first. We want to get that over with so that we can then focus our energy on what I think is the topic of the day and why a lot of the members are here. Before we get to that topic of the day, we have some business that we need to take care of, and then we will start the discussion about the long-term road plan discussion. But first, we've got some business to take care of. Sue, minutes?
Okay,
Speak up.
Thursday, February 26th, minutes for the regular board of directors meeting. Hopefully everyone has read. Please advise if there's any changes, corrections that need to be made.
I have none.
Then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for Thursday, February 26th.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The regular board, minutes of the regular board meeting, February 26th are approved.
The next set of minutes is the special board of directors meeting from March the 10th. Again, if I do see a correction that needs to be made on here, but if anyone else has a correction, there's a registered trademark.
I was just gonna say, the registered trademark needs to be removed.
Yes,
It's not-
I will remove that.
It's not a registered trademark, it is a process.
So this was from the special meeting that we had about the road plan, the presentation.
Move accept it with that noted correction.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes of the special board of directors meeting of March 10th, 2015 is approved. Treasurer's report.
Okay. A few things before I get to the actual financial report. Back on March the 4th, Danelle and I met with the CPA to go over several items, just cover them briefly. Ponderosa Pines Water Company taxes no due. 2014 taxes were completed. They filed electronic filing. We received a disc. And he wanted to make a note that there may be an increase in the fees to complete the 2015 tax returns. He charged $150 this year. They may increase up to $600 for next year, and the reason why is because the water company is growing, and it's based upon the assets, and we are over $500,000 now. And because of that, he has to change the forms that we file. So he's going from a few forms to about 24 forms. So, it's just an estimate. It's not a for sure, but he just wanted to give us a heads up that it may go up, so.
When is he gonna let us know prior to the budget time for
Yes,
next
we
year?
always ask him prior to budget what the fees will be, so that we can build them in.
More money.
I guess my question, is there anything we could do to help alleviate that cost?
No, it's based upon the total net worth of the company, so it's just part of the doing
And this
business.
is because of the water company.
This is the water company, but I just wanted to let you know, the meeting incorporated several different things.
Okay.
Pppoa taxes, he filed an extension for the taxes. The Oregon has a flat fee of $150. Federal was no tax. You didn't have to pay any tax, which was great. Talked about the reports. Regarding budget, he wants to keep it simple. So one of the things that has been coming up time and time again over the last several months is that the budget that we put out is in an Excel spreadsheet. We pull the line items and we type it in. So it's not a download from QuickBooks. So it doesn't exactly match. So what we're gonna start doing for our next go around for 2016, will be to pull the budget right out of QuickBooks and then send that out. So it'll be more of a one-to-one match on everything. But that doesn't mean the budget stays the same. It will not match the financials, because as you go through the year, things come up that are not on your budget that will show up in the financials, so just be aware of that. It just helps with the wording.
Is there a chance then, when we're comparing it to financials on the report, is if you say if there is an exception that's coming, that there's a remarks column or something that we can identify?
QuickBooks has a notes field in it, but the reason why you don't change your budget if something happens is so that
I understand.
when you review your financials, you pick up on
I
those
don't want to be
things as
changing
well.
the budget, but
Yeah, you don't change the budget.
You don't change the budget, but if the expenses are unexpected and cause the expense line item to be higher than the budget, we need to clearly understand and have a documentation as to why.
Yes, there is a
Okay.
notes capability.
Why did we file an extension?
The other thing was, there was a question in regards to the general ledger. The budget may not match the general ledger because new expenses may happen during the year. And it is quite acceptable to use the other line as a valid category when those things occur. You don't want to use miscellaneous, you want to use other. So that is quite acceptable. And then that was pretty much what we talked about.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Why did we file an extension for it?
Yay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Why do we file an extension?
Why did we file an extension for Oregon?
It-
Oregon taxes aren't due until the 15th,
Federal taxes.
right? You say right here you filed
Well,
an extension
it was
for-
federal. It was federal taxes.
So
Why
why
did
do
we
we-
file an
Because he
extension?
doesn't get them done in time. And
When did they do?
they're due in March 15th. So because
So why
it
should we
happened
be
last year
penalized?
too,
We can't
it's
do that.
a common occurrence to file an extension if for some reason the CPA doesn't think he's going to be able to get all of the numbers and all of the information done
Why
to do the
is
taxes.
our tax due on the 15th?
It's based upon the,
If you don't know, say you don't.
no, I know, it's, the water company is due at a different time than the association is due. So the association is due in March, and the water company is due in April.
But it's a corporation, right?
Mm-hmm. It
So
has
you
to do with
get-
the homeowners association.
Yeah, so that's our year end then, based on.
It's
our
based
year
on a
end.
year end, yes, a calendar year.
Okay.
And it's a
And-
precaution, because if he doesn't do that and he doesn't get them filed in time, then we pay a penalty. So it's just precautionary.
Well, I'd like to find out then what the process is of why we can't get them done in time.
Because he has other clients.
Well, I'm sorry,
We never had that problem before when I was on the board, all the years I was on the board.
Excuse
I'm
me,
sorry,
we're having a
I know.
conversation here.
I just had to say that.
Okay. This is gonna be an orderly meeting here.
It's ordered.
Can we just talk to him about that? Because if he's gonna be charging us more money for doing it, I would like to understand what he can't do to get us up on that.
Or give us the 150 credit back on our bill.
Okay, let us get through our, can everybody just let us get through some of our business here? And then we'll get to the major topic that almost everybody wants to talk
Major
about.
topic first.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Just imagine if that's in the crew.
About the preliminary.
The taxes are done, as I said, there was no tax due. The reports we talked about, so there'll be a balance sheet income statement, the year-to-date versus budget, and the monthly report versus budget. If the board is wanting that, then I will let him know, and we'll work with the bookkeeper to get those done. He's provided you with the 2014 CPA annual review in draft form, so he needs you to take a look at that. And if you have any questions, to let him know, so he can make some adjustments.
Can we make a target for having the board some time to look at this and to approve it at the next meeting?
For this, you can.
Is there a deadline?
Well, the financials for the association have to go out within 180 days, which we usually incorporate them into the annual report. Otherwise, you're in violation with the state requirements.
180 days from what, year in?
January 1st, or year end.
So that's 6 months. So we have at least until,
But I would recommend that you not wait that long so he can finalize his report. So by the next meeting,
by April? Okay. Board, homework?
okay, the preliminary financial report for February 28th. Petty cash is $100. Washington Federal checking operations is $70,657.27. Washington Federal money market reserves is $78,571.36 for a total of $149,328.63. Accounts receivable as of February the 28th is $38,202.38. The operations for February was $2,632.60. And special assessment was $2,632.60, and there is no reserve. So if you have any questions on that, please submit them, and we'll submit them to the bookkeeper for responding to your questions or corrections.
Okay, that's in February.
That's February.
Okay.
As soon as you approve the annual report, then we can finalize the year end for December 31st, January 31st as well.
Okay. Anything else from the treasurer? Acting treasurer. Okay. Manager's report. Julie is roads liaison. You have anything to report?
No, we're pretty much done. There's not much for us to do right now, except to get the roads graded and put our crown back on the roads.
Brad.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have to come in here to hear me though.
Come up here.
The section that is designated in my 5-year game plan is a section from South Sugar Pine to Ponderosa Loop. So all the veins in between there along the roadway are the areas that we're going to be focusing on. We also marked a number of trees last year that we didn't have the opportunity to get to from the first section from White Pine up to South Sugar Pine, and those will be taken care of. We'll get those down. We followed up on a lot of the encroachments, commons encroachments, and the majority of those have been taken care of. There's still a few that I need to follow up on. I've been called upon to do a lot of property pin locations. People are going to be putting up fences. One homeowner was putting up like a $10,000 fence and wanted to make sure that they had their corner markers right. And I highly recommend that. If you don't know exactly where your markers are, then, you know, I'm not a professional surveyor, but 70–80% of the time I can find where those are. So I do encourage people to inquire before just putting something like that up, because it could be awfully expensive to take it down or have it moved. I've noticed a lot of other things. One of the things that I've been a little concerned of is people putting up signs on commons trees. For example, it could be a no trespassing sign or whatever. Some of those can choke out the trees if they don't put them on properly. I've seen them wrapped in wire. That'll kill a tree. Sometimes a nail can cause a lot of problems with a tree. More so with the lodgepole and the jack pine than the ponderosas. But the signs if you're installing signs, they should be on your property. If they're on the commons, then and I see that it can threaten some of our healthy trees, I'll probably be taking them down. That's about all I have.
Good.
Questions, concerns?
Thank you.
Brad, I have a quick question.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
North Sugar Pine, you did mark trees on North Sugar Pine, but they haven't been taken down yet. Are you gonna do that? Because we're
Yeah.
gonna be thinning.
That's what I'm saying, I'm going back to remove the trees that were marked last year that we didn't get to before I
you did?
move on to the new section.
Okay.
Part of it had to do with the west white pine area where we had to work with the drainage issues there. We took a whole bunch of trees out, there was a lot more work there than anticipated, and so that took me away from other areas.
We're in the process of cleaning it, so we'd like to have that one out so we can clean it up with others. So if you could check with that, do drive by and check with us.
Okay, at where,
North Sugar Pine, 14720.
your last name?
Oh, Holmes.
Holmes, H.
Holmes. Oh, okay, yeah.
L-
Yes, I did mark one right in front of your
Yeah,
place.
the big, yeah.
Yep.
We do let the
It's
wood,
on my
so
list.
that's why he's wanting to.
Okay,
I appreciate it, thank you.
sure. Yes.
You hired 2 new, Commons employees, Brad, yes?
Yep,
You don't have that authority to hire them. The board has that authority to hire and, to terminate. And that is according to resolution 04-30131.
okay. I'll have the board contact these individuals.
The board has, yeah,
Des, we had a discussion with Brad about this morning. We're handling it.
Oh, and that was the other thing, Sue helped me out with this book. This will help me keep track of our safety meetings, my employee list, certifications, things like that. Oh, and equipment maintenance. Jimmy and I spent 4 hours on Monday going through every piece of equipment that we have. It's all clean, up and running, and ready to go to work.
I got a question. I noticed that lately that they have cracked down on people that has businesses out here. Why haven't they did you?
What's my business?
You got, want me to show you your card? Your phone number's the same one up there. Which
Sure.
Jimmy just told me he worked for you. He told me he didn't work for the Ponderosa Pines.
Yep. What I do is I clean lots in addition to supplement my
Then you ought to
income.
change your phone number to a
Okay.
local number up there on the manager's paper.
No, I don't see any reason to do that.
Why should anybody have to call you long distance?
Okay. We'll take that under advisement.
So you do have a property
We'll
management
take that under
business, correct?
advisement.
Yep.
Okay. And you live here?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you,
In the
Brad.
association?
Thank you.
You bet.
Committee reports. Safety.
Okay, so the chipper grant, the deadline to sign up is April 1st. That's next week. So I've got a sign up sheet. I'm gonna pass it around. If you guys haven't signed up and you have limbs out, they're gonna stay there because we're not gonna pick them up unless we know where to go. They can't go through the whole association. This grant does not have enough money. So that's why there has to be a list of pickups in the association. So all you have to do is sign up on the sheet, email me, heartwood49@msn.com, and get signed up.
What's the date of the pickup again?
The pickup will not start until June 1st.
Okay, but does it have a June
What's the
1st to
longevity?
the 10th or June 1st to the 30th?
Until they're done,
Oh, until they're done, okay.
until they're done, however long it takes.
I called in, is that enough?
Yes,
It's okay then.
yeah. Yeah, you can call me
536-9533, and leave a message if I'm not there to answer the phone. So just to review, it's branches up to 8 inches in diameter, can be bitter brush, it can be manzanita, no needles. We will not pick up needles.
Unless they're attached.
Unless they're attached. So if you can glue all those needles onto a branch, we'll have it. Okay, so in March, I believe, we sent out 24 follow-up letters, and we advised people about the chipper grant. We sent along a list of contractors that they could contact, and we've had about 8 of those people take us up on it. They've actually, several people are in the process of cleaning those lots up. I'm just like dancing a little jig with that one. So the chipper grant is working. We've got 49 lots signed up so far. There's also an assistance grant. We've got some assistance grant money, not a ton of it. But I've only had 2 people sign up for that.
What is that?
Pardon?
What's the assistance grant?
If you're elderly, disabled, or low income, they can send out.
We all resemble
I want to sign up too, but it doesn't work. They will actually send a contractor out to help clean up your lot. So if anybody knows of, anybody who needs help,
We're all senile senior citizens.
Yep.
I know.
But we can walk
But
and work.
I'm sorry you don't qualify.
Goodness for that.
It's pretty limited. You could probably do 8 people, and that's about it.
Is that through you as well?
Yes. Any questions?
Just to comment, and maybe I missed it, but I have driven around and seen where a lot of people have taken their limbs and getting prepped for this chipper day, and they've dumped them on the commons area. My understanding is it needs to be on your property and not on the commons area.
Correct.
There's a problem with that. The problem
Yeah.
is, we have a lot of people that are fenced, and the only place you can put them, they can get to them, is on the commons in front of your, on the other side of the fence. In front of
Do
your
you have a
yard.
gate on their fence?
There's a gate.
Would have been their property next to the gate. They will go on your property.
Yeah. They will actually take their truck and back it up into your property to chip.
Cannot be on commons property. It's got to be on your property.
What?
But that was very specific when we first brought it up.
I've got a question on this. How long have we known this? Because it's all over this.
That was, I think,
And
on
that's,
the initial flyer. That wording specifically was on the initial flyer.
yeah, good luck, folks.
And if you drive around Ponderosa Loop and all those right now, all the limbs and stuff are laying right next to the road in the commons.
Yeah.
That's what I've been mentioning.
So you guys got plenty of room on your property anyway.
Are you saying that you can pile your limbs and brush on your property but close to the common? Or does it have to be on the street?
It has to be on the road side of your property. They're not gonna go back through the back of the commons.
Okay, so not on the back side of the common, it has to be on the front
Has
side
to
of
be
your
on the front
street?
side.
Okay,
On common lands.
okay.
Well, ours is on common.
Okay, thanks, Linnell. Julie, unfinished business, road manager vacancy.
Is ours?
It's a lot easier.
You hear that? There's still no applicants for the road manager.
That belonged to the Pine.
We will still have it posted. we will still continue to seek a road manager.
Yes.
New business. That's in the back.
Anybody else?
New business, long-term road plans discussion. Topic everybody's been waiting to participate in. I'd like to have some opening remarks here. First of all, I really appreciate the turnout, that people have taken the time to come here and express their opinions, express their concerns, show their ideas. We are looking for some solutions. There has never been a plan to approve a long-term roads plan at this meeting. That was some information that was wrongly distributed. This is an informational discussion. I asked at the last meeting, I think it was on the special meeting on the 10th, that people submit questions, concerns, issues to the board of directors. We have accumulated those, tried to put them, a lot of them were the same. When you ask 490 people to ask questions, a lot of them are the same, so we've sorted through them. I had a PowerPoint presentation ready, but I got technology challenged, and which is odd for me. But we did have hard copies of the questions and answers that we put together for the majority of the questions and answers. Some of them came in last night, and we didn't have a chance to prepare those. I would encourage everybody to read what's here. It will be posted also on the website so that everybody will have a chance to look at it. I do have one correction last night as I was typing. It's on the very last page, and I'd like to identify that correction. On the second bullet point, the street name of Ironbark was incorrect. It was actually Black Pine. So it's Black Pine and not Ironbark on the second bullet on the last page. So, I can quickly go through this if people want to, or what I'd also like to have is a significant amount of time for the individual members to have some chance to put some input in. I think it's very, very important that we continue this community discussion. This isn't going to be the last time people are going to have a chance for input. This is a process we're going through. This is your first opportunity, other than the questions that you sent to the board, as we try to go through our process and come up with an approved roads plan. I would like to say, though, I would like to keep this as a very open discussion. It's not, I don't care what you say, but I do care how you say it, okay? Let's all be civil to everybody. Let's respect everybody. We are recording it. We're recording it both vocally, and Barb's taking the opportunity here to record it on a video. So one thing that is required is we go around the room and people have their opportunity to speak, and hopefully we can get this done in an hour. And in order to get this done in an hour, if we've already covered a topic, you can say, I had a concern about this, but you talked about it. Let's don't do a continual elaboration around it. But as we do, I would ask everybody to at least state their name and list some of their concerns. We're recording it. If we have not already covered some of the concerns in this synopsis, we will put together another synopsis and get that out to everybody. We want your input, we really do. We want to do this in the best interest of the community. So, with that, are there any other comments that the board would like to make before we?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. We will try to answer the questions if there's some questions that we know of and we can answer right now. If not, we will write them down and we will get answers to them. A lot of questions are going to come out of the blue, and we're just going to say, we don't know, we'll look into it. Yes, Dave.
Well, I sent in some questions, and my main concern was the water piping in the ground and our valve situation.
Mm-hmm.
One of my concerns is that if they use a material, I want to make sure it's inert, it won't penetrate the ground, okay, because we have to protect our pipe that's been in the ground a long time.
Correct.
And I also I glanced over some things that they use different cutters in this auto seal.
Yes.
And if it's diesel, that's not a good thing. And if they have to, or they can use something else, because that penetrates the ground Okay. And it could hit the PVC, and you know, what do you think PVC is made out of?
Yes.
You know, and it might weaken it. I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
You know, also our valves, they're in the ground, or main blocks, and some blow-ups, not a big deal.
Okay.
But unless we seal those and cap off those things so that stuff can't get down inside that, I'm worried about if it adheres to the gravel, because gravel gets down in there as soon as you open the lid sometimes, because we have to dig these things out of the ground. One of the things, if we do have a location like that, we have to dig down about 5 or 6 inches. That's gonna break that seal or auto seal. Will that affect anything, or should we put sleeves in to protect that so it won't happen? So, and the other thing is they're down in the ground quite a bit. I can't reach down and grab some of that stuff out of there. Will it adhere to any of that gravel so we can get that stuff so we have access to those valves?
Okay.
My biggest thing is the chemical or the cutter that is used, and will it affect our pipe?
Got it.
And, you know, we used to ship on, you know, with Chevron weed oil and stuff, which is a combination of, you know, weed killer plus diesel. They cut that stuff off in California. We couldn't use it because of the penetration. Thank you.
We'll follow up on that, okay? Again, we're gonna try to get through this in about an hour. I know a lot of
No
concerns
problem.
here, but, let's just start from, we'll go this way.
Well, what if someone else has questions after someone says something?
We'll try to address them as we can. Okay?
Is there any other product that you've looked at other than this auto seal?
Is there any other product?
Enviro, that's environmental friendly?
Yes,
That's adjusted into
if you look at the report out from the ad hoc planning committee, we looked at, I was a liaison to it, but I was involved in all the meetings. I'm no expert on Odyssey by any means, but it was looked at from a mag chloride, it was looked at from a product called Durablin, which is a mag chloride and an emulsifier. It was looked at from a EnviroClean, which is a synthetic type of product. And then there were the seals type, the chip seal, the auto seal, paving. Those were all the options that were evaluated. And in a nutshell, in those options evaluated, they were evaluated on some decision criteria. Of course, the financial, what was the cost? It was the doability. Could we do it? You know, is it done? What are the health effects of the various options? What are the environmental effects of the various options? And there was a fifth one.
Environment,
Health.
cost, increased
value.
property value.
Increase in property, the potential increase in property values or sellability of the house.
I'll get it out.
You get it out. She was also a liaison on the committee, so yes, those were all looked at. Yes,
Have we done a?
name please?
Oh, Jerry Chris.
Thanks, Jerry.
Have we done a traffic count or anything on the loop and on Ponderosa Way to see what the actual traffic count is now? I know that one was done years ago.
One was done years ago, and that's one of the things that we've been discussing about potentially doing as we make it get closer to this decision is do a quick traffic
Yeah.
count.
Yeah, I think that would help in knowing how fast this thing would seed in too. Just so you know, I'm researching, I'm trying to find associations that have done it. I think that would be something too, and talk to them. I'd like to know how it works inside of an association, not necessarily just on a straight road.
Well, just
another suggestion.
if you're interested, we are planning a road trip to actually go visit sites in Washington State.
Okay.
Gerald's.
We, in discussion, with Adams County, which is up towards Spokane, they've been using it in excess of 10 years.
Yeah, everything I've read about it, it's pretty damn good.
And we wanna go, I mean, I personally wanna go look at stuff that's been down 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't wanna look at what you put down last year. I wanna look at 5 years and older.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
I might be interested, depending what time it was. I'd be willing to take a trip.
Okay.
I think my brother might be too, being that he's on the planning board for Deschutes now, so.
Is that a county or is it like a private situation?
Adams County.
So it's
Yeah,
county.
It's county roads.
It's a county.
Yeah, the man was buying county roads.
I guess you
Okay, I've got something here. My name's Dennis Kunkel, and I've never been to a board meeting.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming.
We have openings on the board.
I went out, what was going on, just my curiosity sakes, me and my wife, we like to do a little research. So we went out, we looked at it, we found a place in Minnesota. They did this
On the 1.6 miles.
on 1.6 miles. But unfortunately, what they didn't do in their report, they didn't tell you how much it cost for the 3-inch base.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you like turn around or something, because we can't hear back here.
Can you hear me?
I have the
Thank you.
outside voice.
Okay, she did that.
Thank you.
So I go, well, anyway, they did 1.6 miles in this. And the cost, that 1.6 miles, I think it was $45,000, okay?
That's a deal.
But what the report does not say is, it doesn't say that they put down a 3-inch base to start out with. So that wasn't in that. So they went ahead and they put this oral, whatever it is, down. And then the following year, they had to come back through, and where it had erupted because of the frost, the heavy frost, where it had erupted in several different places, a lot of different places, as a matter of fact, they had to use a rubber seal to seal those cracks with, and then they had to turn around and oil it. And that's my biggest concern is, we may be out of our ballpark here.
The base, and
The base.
that's one of the things that the planning committee actually did, was had a roads professional come out here, and three of us went around and took samples of our roads, and, you know.
They dug down.
Dug down. We actually might have seen us going around, there's little holes everywhere. Actually sampled our base, and the general feeling right now is we have a very adequate base. We've been hauling a lot of gravel in, it's still there. There's gonna need to be some shaping and some crowning, but once they do the shaping and the crowning, they'll go back in and check that base again, because everybody understands that this process is extremely required to have a good base.
Yes,
That's right.
you gotta use the right material.
You've got to have the right base, and right now it appears that we've got the material there. We might need to move some of it around, but not a significant portion. The cost estimates that the planning committee used included that road preparation.
Yep.
I'm just gonna, you had your hand up first. Go
I
ahead.
did. Carolyn Barker. I have a question on when you're doing the road or the traffic study that has been suggested. Whether it's really feasible to have a school bus running through here 4 to 6 times a day. And what used to be the bus route, if there's no kids being dropped off when they do their normal Subel Pine route, they're now taking the Black Pine route in order to shorten their route and get home earlier. If they don't have any kids to pick up, or they don't have any kids to drop off, they're not using Subel Pine.
Sure.
They're using Black Pine. And I see the school bus now coming in 6 times a day.
Yes.
I've actually called the school to find out if we have students being picked up on any of our side roads. And they're supposed to get back to me, because my logic is if they're not picking up or dropping off in the center of the roads, and at the ends, they can use the loop. So I actually called the school to find out what.
Okay.
So we're
And so they're gonna get back to you, is that the
Yeah,
plan?
they said they're on spring break, I called them before
Yeah.
spring break, so they said give them some
Because
time to research it.
it's really obvious
They change it. I
which
understand.
route, when the road's
Right.
falling apart,
That's a good
which
thing.
route to take is the opposite to what the bus takes.
Okay, that's a good point. We'll take that into account. Make sure I don't go to a road study.
Lyle Barker.
Hello.
Why don't you, take a poll here real quick, may save you guys a whole bunch of time of what the people want. Not what you want, but what we want out here.
Well, we've already done 3 surveys in 8 years, and over 2/3 of the individuals that responded to those surveys want something different done on the roads.
Well, yeah, I mean, we had blacktop at a half a mile. Now, where'd that go? Well, okay, there you go.
We have 1.6 miles of chip seal road.
I don't care
It's
how
not chip
many
seal.
miles of chip seal you got, you're not answering my question.
The .06 miles of blacktop that was laid in '84 is at the very beginning of the association.
In 1982, this is before I got here, they started out saying, we're gonna do a half or a quarter of a mile every year of blacktop.
Yeah.
They told me the same thing when I moved here.
Yeah.
Well then, what, you know, can I ask you?
No
what-
board has ever approved anything.
That's a lie.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Sorry,
That's-
I gotta say something, if you let me talk. Val Russell used to be the road manager.
Yeah.
I put together a 5-year action plan that was
Right.
approved by the board. We would do a half a mile of pavement starting on Ponderosa Loop, going all the way, Ponderosa Loop and Ponderosa Way, closing that loop.
I understand that.
And then immediately, the board came on, threw out my 5-year action plan and doing a half a mile a year and give everybody back their money for that assessment.
Yes.
And you said it had to go out for a vote. Now, wait a minute.
That's
You
in
said
here.
it had to go out for a vote
Correct.
because it was a capital improvement.
Correct.
This, my friends, is the same thing as a capital improvement.
Yes.
And you better go out for a vote. Don't swing 180 degrees on me like you did before and throw my 5-year action plan out and say there was no plan after it was approved by the board.
But then it was rescinded by the board.
It was.
The new board
Okay.
rescinded it.
There's been a lot of research I've done on that situation,
We need to do a lot more.
And I would please refer to pages 5 and 6 on this question of capital improvement versus maintenance.
Roger Klein, I have a question for you. When I go to board meetings, generally I find they have counsel there to answer questions. I don't know how you couch the terms of this particular attorney, but since he's on a retainer, I imagine that he is. I would think in something like this, and this is why you have so many people here, that you might have him here to be able to respond and answer the questions. He also talks about this being debatable. Debatable means there's two sides to every story. If in fact he is incorrect, the board's gonna have liability for this, and maybe that's why we talk about insurance. So I think you might wanna do that.
Okay.
And if in fact we find out that is true, then the other provision that he's talking about is not gonna be applicable in any way, your other assessment you're talking about.
I think that's a very valid point. When we have another one of these discussions, it might be good to have our attorney present.
Okay.
Thank you.
See, now, they've done this, we did this before, and every attorney, they're just like, you know what,
Okay, we've already commented on the attorneys. We've already commented on the attorneys, and we'll make sure.
okay,
The
but
attorney.
each one has a different opinion of everything.
I understand.
It's a perception of the law.
And we're the ones that's paying the bills unless, if this doesn't work, you folks would like to supplement that.
Do you have anything that goes back and talks about how these bylaws were crafted? Because generally in statutes, you look at the intent. So what was really the intent at the time this particular provision was drafted? Was to limit the spending power of the board to $500? I mean, what was that? And I think that really tells you what the intent it is and what the association wants.
I've
Not
never
hanging
seen,
on, not
I've never seen
capital
a
improvement.
document on the intent of the bylaws.
Well, that particular section, Jeff, there's no past correspondence or anything, someone can go back and look at, and these were drafted, to see what the reason for that was?
I have never seen a document like that.
I haven't come across it yet.
I wish there was. Every time I wrote a document like that, there was always an intent document that I've not seen one here.
Shirley knows.
Excuse me, my name is Shirley Flustig, and I've served on the board 5 years approximately. I think what's happening is, and I feel for you, you're creating a problem for yourself. You're creating a lot of animosity. The rules are the rules. Now, this particular attorney said that he didn't think it was a capital improvement. I went to the IRS line on capital improvement. And I have the paperwork here, which you're welcome to see. It is a capital improvement, what you're doing. And you can save all these hard feelings, you can save all the animosity, if you just put it out for a vote.
Exactly.
That's
Amen.
all you have to do. Put it out for a vote. If you don't, you're gonna have people that are gonna be really unhappy. And I'm one of them. And the other thing I want to comment on is, in 16 years that I've lived on Curly, I've had two dumps of gravel in 16 years. I have paid for the gravel, for everything else too. If this is legal and it passes with a vote of the people, I want it on my street too.
You should.
How would it not help your
Yeah.
property value?
It's
if it's not on
discrimination.
your street?
The cul-de-sacs never,
Okay, let's work over here. Go ahead.
Diane Schubberger. Jeff, I have notes from a meeting that your wife steered at the senior center. Danelle was there, Barbara was there, Andrea was there, and it gave the percentages of your first survey. Your